And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we are talking about 8 surefire guaranteed ways for you to crush your depression if you have any. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, like, and let's get going. Number 1, okay? You gotta understand that depression comes from being focused on the past. If you're depressed, it's because you've been stacking problems over a long period of time without knowing, okay? If you're focused on when you're driving, okay? If you look forward, you have this big windshield in front of you, right? And you're looking through there to go somewhere. The problem with people is that they spend most of their lives sometimes looking at the rear view mirror, okay, the small little thing, a mirror at the top there, looking at the past. Now, if you drive your car that way, you're gonna crash extremely fast, okay? But if you're actually focused on where you're going, man, it changes everything. You gotta have vision, okay? And that's what I'm excited about helping you to get. Because the moment you begin to focus on the future and what you're going to do, and what you're going to accomplish, and the solutions that you're going to find to your problems, the opportunities that you're going to create or find, everything changes. You have to have a vision for your life. How do you create this vision? What if you don't have a vision? There's a reason why you're depressed. I understand that. You've literally, your vision muscles have been suffering for quite some time. So we got to strengthen them. What do? Well, you got to take baby steps and get going in trying to strengthen those vision creating muscles, right? What do? You decide what it is that you want, okay? A lot of people know what they don't want. I want you to focus on what you do want, 100%. And it's not that difficult if you begin to look at the lives of others. You got social media, bro, okay? Let's just open your brain, open your mind to think that anything is possible, okay? The richest people on the planet today are people who were ugly, depressed, and who sucked with women, okay? And that's why they became the most successful people on planet Earth when it comes to financial things, okay? You can be that person, all right? If you're in that situation, if you're handsome and, you're not that depressed, well, you've got a small, slight advantage, perhaps. But if you don't put in the same amount of work ethic as those that, are ugly and struggle more than you do, then they're going to pass you and crush you like nobody's business. So listen up, those that are in that category, okay? Because you can achieve everything in life that you desire with the correct mindset. But it's going to take effort and work ethic to make sure that you get that correct mindset, okay? So you decide what it is that you desire, and you take that and write it down. I sometimes talk about the 100 dreams list. Warren Buffett has spoken about finding 25 things and then stripping 25 of them and then selecting only 5 of those and basically, deciding that these are the 5 things that I'm going to gun for in life. Because 100 dreams is just too many things. But if you do the 100 dreams exercise of just writing down 100 dreams until, you run out, but keep going until you get to 100, because it's not okay for you not to get to 100. Once you've gotten to 100, you strip it down to the most important 25. And then you basically forget all the other 75. I'm just going to do the 75. Keep the list, but just focus on the 25. And then you strip those 25 down to 5 things, and that's the only thing that you're going to focus on. And those 5 things, I want you to write them down, pen and paper, every single morning and every single evening. Every single morning, every single evening. Every single morning and every single evening for a long period of time, writing it in the present tense, meaning I have this, I am that, etc., etc. I have $1 million. I'm fired up outside my brain on a continual basis, etc., etc. You use those affirmations. There's a reason why the most successful people use these things. Only people who are cool don't do these exercises, okay? They're important. They're crucial exercises for you to get out of a depression. The same thing that helps people to become mega successful are the exact same things that help people to get out of depression. Who would have figured? Okay? If you do that every single morning and every single evening for a long period of time, your life will radically change. And I presumably would say within 30 to 60 to 90 days, 100% for sure. Especially your depression. Okay? And once you've written those things down, every single morning and every single evening, you read it out aloud. Okay? To yourself, maybe in front of a mirror if you want to do that, to infuse belief and emotion into it. Most of the time I speak about how emotion, we should leave that over to the women, except for this one. When you actually infuse emotion, this is why you have to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors so that you can funnel your emotions into the desired things, like, for example, this exercise. Because when your brain, okay, you're basically, your hindbrain, and the universe only responds to emotional things. So if you're actually positively emotional about things that you want, everything's going to change for you. Then the universe is going to respond in kind to what you want. Okay? So you believe it, and you believe it with all your heart, and stuff is going to automatically happen in your life if you do the rest of the things that I'm going to mention in this video, okay? So that's just step 1, but we got to go to step 2 all the way to step 8, right? Step number 2, what do? The vision exercise was to focus basically on you, right? And it's also an exercise that you can do at home, but I recommend leaving your home behind, okay? And go somewhere else, go into nature, go to the beach, go somewhere and write these things down. And you're focused on yourself because charity starts at home. However, once you've decided over the things that you want, the universe has created the system in such a way that in order for us to get everything in life that we desire, we have to help a lot of people get what it is that they desire. Okay? Which means that in order for you to achieve everything you want, you have to forget yourself and go to work. You'll remember the things that you want, those 5 things, remember, but you're gonna forget about it as you do the work that is necessary to achieve those 5 things, okay? That's what I want for you, to forget yourself and go to work. If you don't have a massive work ethic, that's the number 1 thing, other than the vision creation exercise, that you need to be focused on. In my opinion, it's 80-hour work week. 80-hour work week is gonna get you out of depression real quick, real fast. Because you can't be depressed when you're, you got things to do. People rely on you and you need to get things done in order for you to, keep yourself accountable. Your bosses will keep you accountable, okay? And that allows you to stop doing the things that you're doing right now, which probably is not, happiness conducive. Are you going to be happy as you do the 80 hours in the beginning? Probably not. But it's going to shake you up out of the environment that you're in and create new sets of problems that cause you to forget the other problems that you've had in the past. If someone has died in your life, if you've been broken up with by a girlfriend, if something, whatever has happened to you, it's time to move on. And moving on means that you forget yourself and start going to work and making things happen for others. Okay? Allow others to take up your time, but others that actually create a win-win situation for you so that you can get some cash in at the same time. There's no people who are progressing in their lives who are depressed. Okay, very often the people who are depressed are people who are either standing still or going backwards. That's when you get depressed. If you're progressing and moving towards your vision and making things happen, trust me, you're not going to become depressed. You're not going to be. It's impossible. Because that's how we're wired, that's how we're designed, that when we look at the light at the end of the tunnel, we begin to get excited and fired up outside our brains. 80-hour work week allows that to happen. The cool part about the 80-hour work week is that it gives you the necessary work ethic to solve any problem that you ever will have in your entire life. The only reason why you have a problem that you can't solve is because you don't have the work ethic to solve that problem. Right? And maybe there's always a solution, okay? That solution is out there to whichever problem you have, which means that you're ignorant of the solution or you're ignorant about how to, apply the solution to your life so that you can solve the problem. Okay, so ignorance. How do you get rid of ignorance? By work ethic, by actually trying and failing, okay? What's it called? The power of deduction, right? You're deducting or taking away the things that don't work and begin to do the things that do work. This is how scientists and inventors have been achieving everything that they've achieved is through basically trial and error, okay? An 80-hour work week takes care of that. Number 3. This is going to happen naturally, by the way. Number 3 happens naturally if you apply the 80-hour work week, and it is the principle of SR, seed retention, okay? If you don't know what it is, it's basically that you don't waste your seed continuously on a continual basis because you want to preserve life energy, okay? Depression means you have no energy. If you fired up outside your brain, it means that you have energy. Why are you getting rid of energy when you need to retain energy to get fired up outside your brain? The reason why I'm fired up the vast majority of the time is because I preserve my seed as much as freaking possible, okay? It is an activity, or a non-activity that actually will save your life, okay? From a happiness standpoint and being fired up outside your brain standpoint, okay? Your body has an inbuilt force that works for you in the background to produce happiness, okay? And allow your dopamine receptors to receive, breathing out in nature. It feels so great. Animals, small insects over there. All of those things are going to give you joy and happiness when before it was just a black and gray and, whatever lifestyle that you had in the past. Suddenly, life is going to be filled with colors from one of the things called SR. Who would have thought? You should get excited outside your brain about this, but the cool part is that if you do the 80-hour work week, you're going to be able to apply SR. If you don't, you're probably going to fail at SR, which means that you're going to get yourself even more depressed, okay? Not cool. You want to get out of your depression, which means that you got to apply the 80-hour work week to make sure that you completely forget about yourself and your bedroom and whatever else that you've been doing there. Okay. Moving on to number 4. Exercise. Okay. I don't talk a lot about exercise on this channel because every single other masculinity channel has got you guys covered on that one. Okay. It's for me, I think people exercise way too much. But if you're depressed, you probably don't exercise, which means that you probably should. And if so let's get started. But what I can say about exercise is that the thing that you need to be focused on from an exercise standpoint is doing an activity that you enjoy doing. Well, I don't like exercise. I don't like this. I don't like that. Who cares? Choose something that you actually will like. Join a group, okay? Join the paintball group for whatever, whatever. Anything that you find exciting that actually shakes your body up a little bit and produces some form of, adrenaline rush and excitement or pumps your heart, let's go. Okay, you just need to get some exercise going, whatever it is, okay? Number 5, eat healthier. This is a big problem for most people, most guys, because they're not used to cooking. Very often, if you're depressed, you probably grew up with a single mother, and she's been cooking for you all forever. Well, you got to make a decision, because if you're depressed and you're living with your mom and you're at home a lot, we got an issue, because she's partly the reason for your depression. It's not her fault. It's your fault for still living with her, but it's depressing that you're still living there, okay? Which means that you got to get the heck out of there. But that creates a problem, because then you got to learn how to cook for yourself, and that's a big issue. Okay, you can solve this by still living at home, but working 80 hours a week. She'll cook your lunch. She'll make sure that you're fed and everything is wonderful from that standpoint, if you still are living at home. But if you're not doing the 80-hour work week, why would you not do that, by the way? Then you need to move out, because then you're actually spending time with people that are bringing you down. Not their fault, your fault for sticking around, okay? So, but you need to eat healthy, which means that you need to eradicate sugar as much as possible from your life. Sugar, cigarettes, alcohol, anything that messes up with your dopamine receptors, anything that's not natural energy, take it away. because your brain actually begins to rely on that stuff in order for you to be happy, which means that it crashes and burns the moment you don't have it. This is how you become addicted to stuff that gives you a temporary instant gratification type of happiness. It's not sustainable, and because it's not sustainable, you're going to get more and more and more depressed over time. Okay, especially because it runs through your wallet like crazy, right? If you do the 80-hour work week, what do you know? You're actually going to get rid of that as well. You're going to get rid of all those addictions because you're working so hard that you don't want to be spending time on that or money on that, and you actually are getting rid of your friends naturally, which is also one of the other points that I'm going to talk about in a second. Okay, number 6 is a consistent sleeping routine. What do I mean by that? If you wake up early and go to bed early, you're not going to be depressed. If you go to bed early and wake up early, you're not going to be depressed. Okay? It's not normal. People who are depressed, they usually stay up late because they feel like, this is the only time that they feel alive because, they've been drearing all day and sleeping throughout the morning time up until like 11, 12 o'clock, and then they start their day and they hate their day, and then it's late at night and now they can actually enjoy the evening time because they're not tired. This is a horrible strategy for you to get out of your depression. To get out of your depression, you got to do things that other people are not willing to do so that you can boost your self-esteem quite a bit, okay? And that is waking up early in the morning and doing productive activities, as for example, reading some good books, okay? Think and Grow Rich, The Slight Edge, all these books that, if you absolutely have to, or you can just, move on to number 7 that I wanted to tell you guys today, which is to binge watch my videos, okay? If you do that consistently over a long period of time, trust me, it's impossible for you to stay depressed. I have that tendency to bring about those changes on people. If you're around me, you're going to get fired up outside your brain because I'm going to be a different environment for you. I'm going to be an environment that's a positive influence on your brain because I'm positive. I have a great attitude the vast majority of the time, and I want to help you to get fired up outside your brain. And I've got thousands upon thousands of hours of content firing you up on YouTube, and it's free. And if you don't want the ads, then you just pay for a premium account and get fired up outside your brain, okay? That's what you need. You need someone to infuse belief in you, and you need someone to tell you what to do to get you out of the situation that you're in, because you haven't done it by yourself, so it's time for you to get some assistance. And lastly, which goes hand in hand with what I just spoke about, number 8, you need to change your environment. You're a feminine creature. You're a little bitch if you're still depressed, which means that you need to change your environment because feminine creatures are environmental creatures, which means that if you create a better environment for yourself, you as a feminine creature will change and naturally be drawn towards that better environment if you're in it, okay? But if you're in an environment right now that produces stinking thinking because you have friends that produce that in you, because you're going to be affected, okay? As a feminine creature, you do not have the ability to close off this door between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is turns out to be your self-talk, and you go around all day talking to yourself negatively because all of the stuff that you put in there is negative. You're basically, you have a jar of poison that you're drinking every single day by being around the people that you are around. It might be your family, it might be your friends, okay? If they've got stinking thinking, the 80-hour work week will solve this for you because it takes you out of that environment as much as possible. You're still going to have it in your life, but you want to dilute it with clear, pure water, okay? You put that clear, pure water in there, the poison there is going to eventually drip out and go away, right? And we want you to have clean thinking, not stinking thinking, right? And the only way to do that is by changing environment. What does that mean? It means sack your group, start again. Okay? What's your group? Your family and friends. Okay? If you are depressed, if you're fired up outside your brain and happy, keep them, because then they're doing their job. But if you're not fired up outside your brain, then you're in the wrong place. Okay? I'm not saying cut them off completely. I'm just saying instead of spending hours with them a week, Spend maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour is enough. Okay, you need to move on with your life. You need to achieve amazing things so that they can get fired up outside their brain, because you're going to help them with their money issues, right? Eventually, at some point in time when you become a multimillionaire. So just wanted to share this information with you guys. I hope it helps, because all those things has definitely helped me to keep and retain a fantastic attitude, and it changes everything. You have to understand that if you've been stacking problems and being a problem stacker, when you have a bad attitude about those problems, you're literally adding fuel or adding a problem to the problem, right? So you're making it twice as bad as it was, okay, by having a negative attitude about it, okay? But when you have a positive attitude about it and fuse it in there, guess what? Those problems that you've had in the past now become kind of meaningless. They're not that big a deals anymore, because one, you're either going to solve them or you're just going to ignore them because they weren't that important in the first place. Okay? So that's what I want to share with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Remember that. You are awesome, but you got to take one step at a time and make things happen. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.